Welcome back, everybody. I'm Selipnir. You can call me Selly, and this is the bullshit P-switch level. So this level was especially brutal for me because you have to hit that little castle music at the start, and then you have to listen to P-switches for the whole damn level. And that would be fine if, like, I knew what the hell I was doing with it, but I don't. You are going to see here, based off my button presses, that I am trying to jump right off this P-switch because I wasn't seeing that coin right underneath me. That was one of the first times that I spotted it, and I don't think I really saw it. I was just kind of like, oh, I have a platform now. So it takes a little bit to get used to, but this is ultimately a difficult level, but once you get it, it feels really good. So these initial tricks, they aren't too bad. It's just kind of stringing them together that makes them difficult. The first spot that I really had trouble was on those nets. In total, I spent about 5 hours on this level. And you're going to see that missing that jump right off the spike ball is going to cause you to have to jump again on it, and then you lose a lot of time on the P-switch. So it's not like an ultra tight timer, but it's Kaizo, it's tight. The other thing is just grabbing that throw block. You have to basically grab it in a single frame. That thwomp, the lower right corner of it, I don't know if you saw it, but you will see it quite a few more times. It kind of disappears. It just has a graphical glitch on you. And the first few times that happened to me, I kind of freaked out. After a while, I started to ignore it. The nets were especially fun to learn. I actually at one point was simply just stopping and going slow up to the nets to make sure I could hit them. And I still got stuck a handful of times. Once you get them, they're pretty easy, but up until then, they're kind of hard. Here's one of the first times I got up here, and hey, I didn't know where to go. So the camera on this level, because it's a vertical level, it only responds to Mario being on the ground, what the game calls the ground, which is why you'll see that it doesn't move how you would expect it to. So jumping off the second dry bones, there's spikes like right above it, so that if you're holding jump, you die. And if you forget that, just like that, so I was holding jump and I died. Well, if you forget that, and you don't just have those button presses memorized, you're basically dead if the camera doesn't scroll up and tell you. So there's a lot of tightness in this level in that regard, but overall, this first half wasn't too bad. There's me being stuck on a net, and so now I'm basically dead. I'm going to get pretty far, but you'll see that the P-switch was almost out, and I hadn't even seen the second P-switch yet. So the other part that is tough about playing this level blind is you don't know where the second P-switch is, or that there even is one. And you don't know how high up you have to go. This could be like a Skytree type of level where you just go for what feels like forever. Now, this is Quickie World. It's made to be short and go quick, and you run. So I just caught a glimpse of it, but that's the first time I've really seen the P-switch. And so now I know where I have to go. The problem is you'll see I was way too slow, so getting stuck on that net there would kill me. Just simply wasn't fast enough. And so you have to hit every single trick every single time to just get up to that second P-switch. There's also no checkpoint here. So every death, you start all the way over at the beginning. You're going to see a number of times when I am actually getting up there that I am up there and moving for quite a while before the camera actually adjusts to where I am. And I was pretty tempted to patch all of that out and just kind of say screw it, but I'm determined to play the game as it was made, not with my own modifications. So even though there are patches that will help you center the camera better on Mario and kind of fix some of those issues, there we go. So I had no idea where I was, the P-switch was running out, and I decided, well, screw it, I'm going to see if I can P-switch jump and hit a spike. So yes, there are patches that will make that easier, but this is how the level was played. This is how the speedrunners and other players are playing it. Who am I to modify it? So I didn't modify anything in here, but you are going to see we just hit the second P-switch, and we've been at this for about almost 45 minutes at this point. So this level took me a long time. I actually had to make this into two episodes. It was so long. So if you have anxiety, if you hate P-switch music, I apologize. Skip out of the next 2 episodes, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you back next time for a very cool platforming level. The one thing I did learn about this second P-switch is if you get up there and you're like a little bit too late, you're really not too late. As long as you're coming off, or as long as you're in the air, so like coming off of right there, you can hit the P-switch as it falls. Now that part with the 4 jumps, I did eventually figure out that it's a lot better to do spin jumps there. But the problem is that, again, the camera doesn't move fast enough, so you don't always see what's coming next. It doesn't really spawn in a way that I'd like. There was one of those examples of being a little bit late to the second P-switch, but still getting it. So as it's falling, if you do hit it, and you are set to land on a block to either side of it, you will actually make it. But I got a little better at getting up here fast, but then it became a problem of just getting up those 4 platforms in a really quick and efficient manner. If this level was no P-switches, it really wouldn't be that hard. But with the P-switches in there, you do really have to keep things moving. I mean, it's called Quickie World after all. What do you expect? You gotta run. So there were lots and lots of attempts, lots of times that I made it to the top, but I had gone like a little too slow or something, and so things didn't quite work out for me. That jump there is hard, so there's the saw. And now I know I have to spin jump on that saw and ride it, but you saw how far behind I was, which means I have to go much, much faster going up those 4 platforms. So here we are about 50 minutes in, and I'm just getting to the saw. I'm just learning to spin jump up these, but I haven't quite gotten it down to where it's really efficient. On the other hand, this beginning part, I kind of got it all. I get it, pretty regularly. This is the hardest part, jumping off that brown platform and hitting the second P-switch. It seems stupid, but that's what it is. Now that saw, I did have a little pause on the 3rd platform, and that's what kept the saw out of my reach. Like, when you're on, after you hit that second P-switch, you have to basically book ass. So here we go. Too long. And the saw's out of reach. So it's one of those, alright, do it again. And I was still getting occasionally stuck on those nets. I was still occasionally holding jump too long on those dry bones. I was occasionally missing off that other dry bones. And so each attempt here, you are going to see the timer skip forward just a little bit. I almost made it over the spike that time to get to the saw. Almost. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so fuck that. Start all over. But overall, this level, when you complete it, it feels really good. So there's me onto the saw. First time, almost an hour in, and I would honestly call that saw my halfway mark. With that saw, what you're really seeing is that you have a long ways to go still. It's not impossibly long. If you look up at the very top left of the screen, as I get up near the saw, you'll see a couple of coins, and the orb is actually right above that. The problem is, I don't know that, so I just have to run. Go as fast as I can and get through everything as fast as possible. There was one of those P-switch hits where I was a little late, but I could save it, and there we go. I get to see just a little more of the level. I get to see a dry bones. The nice thing about this, I have seen people basically spin jump through this entire thing, or almost this entire thing, at least that first section. Definitely the second section, which we'll see next week. But in all honesty, I got a lot more comfortable with it using the regular jumps. I felt like I had a lot more control. Sometimes with the spin jumps on these vertical levels, it just felt like I was kind of blazing way out of control. I couldn't really control where I was landing. These saws are especially difficult because their hitbox is very deceiving. You can't actually land on the whole saw. There's a whole outside portion that you can't hit on both the left and the right. So what I used as a guide is actually the little pink center piece. That's what I used to try and stay on. It's about 1 block wide. And there we go. I almost made it to the 2 dry bones. So now I know I can't hold jump there. But that's going to be it for today. So we will pick this up next time. So I want to thank you for watching, and we will continue the Tower of Power next week.